The Lion and the Iron Gate by Tiger Khan. The desert moon was a silver crescent, hanging low over the dunes like a glowing smile. Little Inaya sat on the balcony, her chin resting on her hands. Grandmother Rawia sat beside her, the scent of jasmine tea swirling in the air. "Grandmother," Inaya whispered, "tell me about a hero. Someone so brave that even the mountains would bow." Rawia smiled, her eyes twinkling. "Then I must tell you of the Lion of Allah," she said, and the day the impossible gate was moved. Rawia pulled a small ancient shield from a wooden chest. It was made of dark metal and felt heavy with history. "Long ago," she began, "there was a great fort called Khyber. It sat high on a hill, protected by walls so thick that no one could break through. Many brave men had tried, but the giant iron gates remained locked tight, mocking those who stood below." Inaya traced the scratches on the shield, imagining the sound of clashing metal. Outside the fort, two soldiers named Yasir and Haris looked up at the towering walls. The sun was hot, and their hearts were heavy. "The gate is too strong," Yasir sighed, leaning on his spear. Haris nodded, shielding his eyes from the glare. "We have tried everything," he replied. They knew that only a leader with a heart of pure light and iron courage could find a way inside. That evening, the prophet spoke to his companions. "Tomorrow," he declared, "I will give the banner of victory to a man who loves Allah and whom Allah loves. He is a brave soul who never turns back." Among the crowd was Ali. He stood beside Yasir, his face calm, despite a pain in his eyes. He didn't ask for the honor, but his heart was ready to serve. The next morning, a scout named Haris ran to Ali's tent. "The time has come," he called out. Ali stepped out into the light. The pain in his eyes had vanished by a miracle, and he felt a surge of strength like a rushing river. Ali took the green banner from Harris's hands, the silk fluttering in the morning breeze. He looked toward the fort of Khyber, his gaze as sharp as an eagle's. Ali rode toward the great fort, with Harris following close behind. As they reached the base of the hill, the giant iron gate loomed over them like a sleeping monster. The soldiers on the walls laughed, thinking no one could ever move such weight. But Ali did not hesitate. He planted the banner firmly in the sand and looked up at the heavy iron, his heart full of peace and faith. Suddenly, the gate creaked open just a crack, and out stepped a champion named Marhab. He was tall and wore heavy armor that clanked with every step. "Who dares to challenge the walls of Khyber?" Marhab shouted, swinging a heavy sword. Ali stepped forward, his own sword, Zulfikar, shimmering in the sunlight. "I am Ali," he said firmly. The two faced each other, the air between them still and silent. The struggle was brief but mighty. With a strength that seemed to come from the heavens, Ali overcame the champion, but the great iron gate was still shut tight, blocking the way for his friends. Ali dropped his shield and reached for the edge of the gate with his bare hands. He took a deep breath, and with a roar that sounded like a lion, he pulled. The earth shook, and the massive iron hinges began to groan and snap. With a final, incredible heave, Ali lifted the entire iron gate off its hinges. He didn't just move it, he held it up high, using the heavy metal as a bridge, so his fellow soldiers could cross the deep trench surrounding the fort. Yasir ran forward, his eyes wide with wonder. As he crossed the iron bridge, Ali held steady. The impossible victory was won, not by numbers, but by the bravery of one lion-hearted man. Back on the balcony, Inaya's mouth was open in a wide O of surprise. "He lifted the whole gate?" she asked. Rawia nodded, tucking a blanket around Inaya's shoulders. "He did. Because true strength doesn't just come from muscles, Inaya. It comes from a heart that is brave and kind." Inaya looked up at the stars, feeling like she too could move mountains or maybe even iron gates if she stayed brave.